Okay, so last week we covered a few speaking part one questions and one speaking part two topic. Okay. Um, we did go through this sample answer and the way to establish a sense of rhythm, right? One and two and three and four. And we also discussed about the application of some of the ideas in this very particular answer in other topics. And that was something that you did um, in the session on Tuesday, right? So make sure that you can attend that class because that class is supposed to help you revise some of the fundamental knowledge that you are taught here, right? And if you feel like you need a bit more practice, you can sign up for, one-on-one support sessions. I think that I think that I'm gonna change the rule a little bit. Perhaps you guys can do a joint session, right? So that perhaps you can interact with one another instead of being intimidated by me in 30 minutes. Okay, we're gonna go through one of these four topics. And the focus of this particular part is to see if you can apply any of the things that we discussed last week. So, in the answer that I provided you with last week, there was this idea of essentially, things that weren't that important, but then, something changed and it became important. Down here, we have some ideas about, describing people, right? What struck a chord with me about, certain individuals, it was one thing or another. Down here, we have this very typical idea about, a learning process, right? When you say that, when you talk about learning something, you can always start by saying that you didn't hit the ground running, right? And there were lots of challenges that you couldn't really, figure out easily at the beginning. So you did struggle, but not for lack of trying, so on and so forth. Essentially, this would be one complete idea. Although I do think that if you really want to use this idea, you're going to have to, tweak it a little when you see other topics, right? As for, these two paragraphs, I don't think that there's much to learn because it's very topic specific, but still there are some nice phrases, right? I think I hit the nail on the head. It's an idiom. You do something accurately, right? To find my groove, it's the same thing as to hit my stride or to do something more successfully. Improved my logical thinking, right? To have a profound impact on somebody. Now, these are phrases that you should know how to use effortlessly. Anyway, we're going to start with two people doing two topics. So, the first person get to pick, and the next person will not get to talk about the same topic as the first one. Yeah. Okay. Now let's start with Ming, please. With Minh Nguyệt, right?
Dạ em luôn hả anh?
Yes, you get to choose one of the four topics here.
Okay, so I will choose the first one.
This one. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute to think about what you want to say.
Okay.
Oh, before we start, hold on, just a moment. Before we start, let me remind you of the purpose of this activity. The primary focus is on your ability to essentially talk about this topic. So that's the first goal, okay? The second goal, which is also important, but not as important as the first one, is to check whether you can apply anything that you learned from the previous script. Okay? That's all.
Okay.
You
Okay.
have 1 minute. Good luck. Okay, remember you can speak about this topic between 1 and 2 minutes, and don't worry if I stop you. You should start speaking now, please.
Okay. So I want to talk about my close friend named Me. We came from the same university and met each other in Japanese class. She is just an outgoing and warm-hearted girl, so we can easily talk and naturally become friends. She came from an underprivileged background, yet she never let it hold her back. Her determination and optimism inspired me a lot. Um, as time went on, we became inseparable. We often explore local cafe, park, and museum, and we also help each other at school and collaborate in school projects. I remember that we had enrolled in a debate competition that we both have no prior experience in. At first, we didn't hit the ground running though. The concepts were complicated because there were many skill of making an argument, like making a claim, reasoning, making choice, and weighing evidence that we couldn't make head or tails of. So we did struggle a lot. At that time, the struggle took away my confidence and hope. I almost gave up on the competition. It was her who believed in our team and encouraged me a lot. After 2 months of struggle, we kind of hit our stride and things started to make sense. And we finished the contest in top five. It was actually the most memorable achievement that I had throughout my university life. I was so grateful to have her as a
Thank you. That
teammate.
should be fine. That should be fine. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Huh. All right, just a moment. My alarm is going off. I have no idea how to turn it off. Okay, thank you. Just a moment. What am I supposed to do with this thing? Adaptive. Okay. Does my voice sound clearer? Ming Win. Does my voice sound clearer to you?
Yeah, super clear.
Okay. Well, these would be your notes here. Um, I thought that your answer was fine. There were a couple of mistakes along the way, but there are two things that I like to bring to your attention. First of all, your content was super easy to understand, which was certainly a wonderful thing. Another upside this time around was that you were able to essentially deliver your messages in longer utterances. Not all the time, but in a lot of situations, you were able to extend your utterances in a very natural way. So I would say that it's a wonderful improvement, and you just keep on doing what you've been doing, okay? There are a couple of errors. Now, most of them concerned your pronunciation. Now, first one, Japanese course.
Japanese course,
No, Japanese course.
Japanese course.
Did you say course or class?
I say I don't recall class. Uh,
Sure, with a Japanese class.
Japanese Japanese class.
Okay. Now don't put too much emphasis on this type of correction because it should be taken for granted. Like, you know that you make a mistake. All right, I'm gonna fix it. Don't get bogged down in ending sounds because what matters is the overall message. Okay. So you just fix these mistakes along the way. And bear in mind that you can always enunciate clearly for the examiner to understand you. So get all the ending sounds out. Okay. But don't mistake that as a sign for you to focus only on ending sounds because it means you're gonna sacrifice your fluency, which is not a good thing. Okay.
Okay.
We can easy talk. We can easily, and I think it's better for you to say we could easily talk to one another because it happened in the past, right?
Yeah.
Our time, so we could easily talk.
We could easily talk.
Okay. Inspired. You say in spite, as in like this word, in spite. Not a good
Uh,
one. Inspire. One more time. She
inspired
inspired me a lot.
inspired me a
Hmm.
lot.
One more time. She
Inspired me a
inspired
lot.
me. She inspired me a lot.
She inspired me a lot.
You still need to elongate the She
Uh,
inspired me a lot. You can still
she
do both things. Elongate the and then connect it with the me. One more time. Just copy me. She inspired me a lot.
she inspired me a lot.
Hmm. It needs working, but okay. Inseparable. This is a hard word. Inseparable. Inseparable.
Inseparable.
One more time. Inseparable.
Inseparable.
And last one, because with the S at the end.
Because
Right. I mean, it was a bit clumsy work, not being able to get that ending sound out, but overall, that was a very nice speech. Did you try to use any idea from the previous script?
yeah, I tried to use the didn't hit the ground running.
Okay, and what do you think about it? Did you succeed or did you fail?
I think that I succeed. I think I incorporated in kind of quite naturally.
Okay, I would agree. We're on the same page as far as that part is concerned. I thought that it was very clever of you to say, well, okay, so one time we were assigned or we teamed up for a competition together. And to be honest, we did hit the ground running. I mean, it was so bizarre. Like, everything was new. That was nice, right? I just think that you would sound a lot more natural if you can go up and down or down and up or up and down. Because again, you sound a bit monotonous, that you tend to just speak like this. Okay.
Yeah, I'm aware of it and I'm trying to fix this. So uh, you don't see any improvement on that?
Well, I did see some improvements, but not to the point that I'm willing to give you an extra mark for like a wide variety of intonation.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay,
All
got
right,
it.
that should be it.
Thank
Thank you, Nguyệt. I think that you did a good job. Let's continue. One more person, and we don't get to do the first one anymore. Okay. Mom, 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 mom. Uh, Bảo Châu, please choose one of the topics from number 2 to number 4.
Um, I wanna choose number 2 or 4. I cannot choose number 3.
Sure, number 3 then. You have 1 minute.
Okay. Um, I have
To think about
already
what you
have
want to say,
no, I have already have a script for this because I have prepared before this.
which I do not care about. You have 1 minute to prepare.
Okay, okay, okay.
Mhm. Okay. Remember, you can speak about this topic between 1 and 2 minutes, and don't worry if I stop you. Hold on. Oh, okay, sure, sure, sure. We can keep it here, and I can make some notes on a different app. Remember, you can speak about this topic between 1 and 2 minutes, and don't worry if I stop you. You should start speaking now, please.
So now I wanna describe a time when I have a break from my work and study, which I really enjoyed. So in the last summer, after burning the midnight oil knife after knife to study for the final exam, I decided to take a break and do something fun. So since I had a few days off, me and my friend and I planned a short trip to the beach. So we left early the next morning and arrived at a beautiful coastal town. The weather was absolutely perfect with sunny but was not too hot. And as soon as we got there, we had a delicious seafood meal at a hidden gem, which recommended by the locals. And then we spent time in the afternoon to swim and play beach volleyball. I think it was one of the best day I had in a long time. I feel completely stress-free and it was amazing to just relax and enjoy the moment. I also have a quality time with my close friends, which was really special because we don't always have the chance to hang out together like that. And the trip helped me to refresh my mind and get ready for the next semester. So to think back, I truly appreciate that day because it reminded me of the importance of balancing study and breaks, and it was a perfect
Thank you. That
escape
should be
from.
fine. Again, I still have no idea how to operate this machine. How am I supposed to turn off this clock? Okay, fine. Well, what do you think? Were you able to speak about the topic? Were you able to execute all of the ideas that you had prepared? And were you able to use the vocabulary that you wanted to use?
I think I can expand my idea, but I did not use the vocab that we have learned. I
Hmm,
mean, in the last lesson.
I agree. You used nothing from the previous script.
Yeah.
But were you able to execute your ideas? As in, were you able to talk about everything that you had prepared?
Yes. Uh, I the last sentence that I haven't speak is like something I want. I just wanna say that in the
You
future
made that
I
up.
wanna have a trip like this more. So I think, but I think it's not important like that. So I expand all of my idea.
Okay. Well, I thought that your content was super easy to understand. So at this point, I guess the common denominator among students of this entire class is that all of you know how to speak English and all of you can, convey rather intelligible messages, right? So that's not the issue anymore. It boils down to whether you can actually extend your answers in a sensible way. So Joe, you were able to do that. I actually thought that your rhythm in the very last sentence was slightly more natural than the rest of the script, which was, a bit of a strange thing to say, but I really felt like, your hesitation in that particular part just sounded a little bit more natural to my ears. For the
Um,
rest of your script, I felt like you were talking about the topic fine, and no, you had your moments of hesitation, but just did feel like you were actually talking. I felt like you were reading a script to me. So
oh,
do something about that, I guess.
no,
Now, as
I
for
think
the mistakes here, I would recommend you to focus on your ending sounds, but not in the like focus only on ending sounds and forsake your fluency kind of way. You need to maintain your current kind of fluency and accuracy while also getting to grips with these ending sounds. Now, let's do the first one, which I really enjoyed.
which I really enjoyed.
Not really, really enjoyed.
Really
Enjoyed.
enjoyed. Which I really enjoyed.
A few days of
A few days of
coastal town. So you need to enunciate the N at the end.
coastal town.
No, not coast, it's coastal town.
Coastal town.
Town. Give it a bit more time. Coastal town.
Coastal town.
No, it's the town. It's town.
Town.
Yeah.
Okay. Coastal town.
Yeah, it sounds slightly better, but it does require a bit more energy from your part. So do that. A hidden gem, it was such a corny thing to say. I mean, I didn't really have a negative impression of, what you said before this. But the moment you said, well, I had dinner or a meal at a hidden gem, I
Like
felt like it was like the weirdest thing to say ever. Usually you say, well, I had dinner at a restaurant and it was, such a hidden gem. That's how you use the phrase. If you use the
okay.
phrase like that, you're going to essentially announce to the world, and most importantly, your examiner, that you learned IELTS words. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just say, well, I had a wonderful meal in a local restaurant. It was such a hidden gem.
Okay, okay.
Hmm. And stress-free. Look, I think that Joe, you are clearly capable of enunciating ending sounds, but it does, go on and off. Sometimes you do a good job, sometimes you miss the mark. So make sure that you pay a bit more attention to that. Right? Just give yourself a bit more time as you speak. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. Well, that's all. We're off to a good start then, people. That should be it. So I think that the point of this exercise is to, as I've mentioned, to check whether or not you can extend your answers in a natural way, right? And the second point is to see if you can actually incorporate some of the ideas that we have learned in the previous lesson. So, like my recommendation for this particular script would be perhaps you can talk a little bit about the person that you're traveling with. You can say, what struck a chord with me about him here, you know? What struck a chord with me about him was the fact that about them or my when you talk about that the people you travel with, you can say something like, yeah, I think that I really enjoy traveling with them, like in general. And during our first trip together, what struck a chord with me about this particular person was that she was like super organized, right? And then it's a bit hard to incorporate this idea into what Joe said. Um, is there any way that we can incorporate it in? Hmm, it's hard, eh? Didn't hit the ground running. Hmm.
I
Maybe.
think
Joe,
I can use
yeah,
the phrase look forward to, like I um in the
fine,
last
that's fine. It's
meeting.
not a problem.
Mm,
And a
mm.
phrase is never a problem for you. I want the entire thing here.
Okay.
Perhaps. Where were you again?
Uh, what?
Where were you in that answer? You guys
Mm,
went where?
when
Went to
last
a coastal town, right?
I arrived at the coastal town in the morning.
Sure. Perhaps you can focus on one particular activity. Perhaps you guys learned how to parachute, you know,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay.
You can say, to be honest, we didn't hit the ground running. I mean, it was so hard, and we only had like 30 minutes to learn how to do it. But then parachuting is not like it means that you have to jump out of an airplane, right? That was that's not something that we normally do here in Vietnam.
Okay.
Perhaps you can talk about, look, my recommendation would be for you to talk about a particular activity that you
Okay.
had to learn on the spot, right? And then you can say, well, I did hit the ground running. My friends, on the other hand, hit the nail on the head immediately. And I actually gave it a few tries. So, it wasn't for lack of trying. It's just that I couldn't really make head or tail of, how to do it successfully. And after like 10 tries, I think that I sort of just found my groove and everything started to make sense, you know?
Okay.
So what activity can you do on a vacation in a coastal town? Go fishing?
Uh, Now I gonna play beach volleyball.
Ah, beach volleyball. That's a
Yeah.
very exhausting kind of sport.
At that trip, that was the first time I tried, but my friend I think she's an expert.
Okay,
So
fine. So you can say, well, I did hit the ground running, but apparently all of my friends knew how to play it, right?
yeah.
Good. Well, problem solved. That's some recommendation for you, Cho.
Okay.
Let's move on. Today we're going to move on to speaking part three. I think that we have already finished what we need to do in speaking part two. So now we're going to move on to speaking part three. And as you may have already known, let me send the file to you. But wait, I need this file to make some notes. Hmm. This time around, though, I like the activity to be a bit more interactive. So we're going to do the popcorn thing. Ah, popcorn activity. We had such a blast when we played that for the very first time. But you know what they say, fun things do not last. And today I'm gonna put a nasty spin on that activity. Essentially, I'm just gonna ask some of you the original questions here, and then I'm gonna ask other people to essentially deal with the follow-up questions. All right, that can be exciting. All right. Now, today we're going to talk about influencers and social media. Hmm. I aspire to be an influencer, but apparently I haven't really hit my stride on TikTok or Instagram or Threads or Facebook or YouTube. Okay. Now let's talk about influencers. Oh, by the way, before we start, let me remind you of the fact that in speaking part three, you're supposed to engage in a discussion. Okay. So what you need to do is that you need to present an answer and then you provide your points for that answer. It's very similar to writing task two, right? So you can make examples if you want. You can talk about the pros and cons of certain things. You can make predictions. You can talk about the past. You can talk about other people. You can talk about people in certain countries, and then compare them with residents in other parts of the world. Right? But essentially, it's speaking part two. It's just that the spoken version of it. Okay, let's talk about influencers. Zui, please. What types of people tend to have many followers on social media?
Well, I guess it's now the 21st century, and there are just several kinds of people that can be that can exert great influence on social media. So the top of the list should be teachers, because nowadays there are many online classes, and teachers can inspire students to learn better by sharing their knowledge and also just showing their ropes. On top of that, I guess many many influencers are originally businessmen and business women, because they just want to expand their business and they want to generate more revenue. So naturally, they want to incorporate many activities on their social media posts to engage more viewers.
Well, then, do we have other types of people that can attract lots of followers outside of
Uh,
those who have that sort of business acumen?
I guess for some people, they started their Facebook or YouTube pages just out of curiosity, because they wanted to do something new. And but after that initial phase, my observation
Thank you. That
is,
should be fine.
uh
Thank you. Hein, please. So outside of individuals with business expertise and visions, what other types of people can have lots of followers?
One thing, another types of people that is tend to have a lot of followers on social media is people who create aspiration. I think those are individuals who can present an idealized lifestyle, whether is through wealthy, beauty, success. And for example, like a lot of people are admiring the Nepo babies, and because they convey to the mass media you know the admiration that people are look up to, and
Thank
I
you. Well, then
think
what kinds of, you said aspiration or inspiration?
aspiration.
Sure. Then what kinds of aspiration do, these individual, um, what's the verb that goes with aspiration? Aspiration. Okay, well then what kinds of aspiration do these
Why?
individuals represent?
I think, for example, like the Nepo babies, they
Hmm.
represent the aspiration of being like extremely loaded, and I loaded like having a lot of money, and I think like the modern capitalism makes people think money, especially cash, very miraculous, because for a lot of people, money can solve a lot of problems in life. So I think that's why a lot of
Thank you. That
people
should be
is
fine.
looking up to
Thank
Nepo
you.
babies for
Thank you.
inspiration.
Miss Rena, please. So, Kai said something about the fact that a lot of people are now looking up to like individuals that seem to represent wealth and materialistic successes. Um, do you think that these individuals make good role models?
Mm,
Well, actually, it depends on their purpose on social media. I think, for example, if they really want to share their experience and the way they become successful or wealthy like that, it can inspire young people. But on the other hand, some people who are kind of rich and wealthy, they take advantage of their situation, I mean their status to, to try to convince people or lure young people into do some dirty thing for them. For example, kind of, like some famous one with very kind of, I mean like a big property, they try to kind of scam young people, um, like lure them into some scam projects to get their money, or try to convince others, um, other to I mean, okay, that's my idea.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Chang Võ, please. So Miss Rena has been talking about the fact that um, some the individuals who represent the concept of wealth and material success might not be positive role models. But then, in your opinion, what are the qualities of a positive role model?
Well, I do believe that one of the good quality to become a role model would be would be patient and um and perseverance. I think people who showcase their good personality and you know like he who
Thank you. Do you
yeah,
think that role models should be, diligent? Like, should they work hard for success?
I think it would create the reality of how people become successful. It's how their viewers get their realistic expectation, or they can have a good impact on those who see them at a role model. So I think
Hmm. The question is, do you think that role models should be those who work hard? And so, okay, let me rephrase the question here. Do you think that people should look up to, individuals who work hard for their successes?
I think yes,
Why?
it's a good personality. It's a good trait for those who want to become success and work hard is um a quality that everyone should have because
Hmm.
nowadays become rich or have a glamorous lifestyle isn't easy as most people can see on social media. So I think the real life, their hard work can be um, an extremely important
Thank you.
quality. Yeah,
Thank you. That should be fine. Um, hmm. I was about to ask another follow-up question, but it has slipped my mind. Hold on, just give me a moment. Successful. Okay. Thank you, Changbao. We're gonna move on then. Zhang, please. Do you think that celebrities must always act as role models? Zhang.
Ờ, anh có thể nói lại được không ạ?
Do you think that all celebrities should act as role models?
Um, uh, it depends on personal purpose because for some people who just want to advertise who just want to advertise their brand. They they are they just improve their image and act like a successful person or become more beautiful to attract other people. But for something who want to uh, contribute to other benefits, they are make profits from being influencers. They also they have to become a good person who have good
Thank you.
personality.
Thank you. But then, do you think that we should force celebrities to become role models? Like, if you're well known, you're supposed to be public role models.
I For me, I believe that the influencer should be a role model because they have a large influences on other people. So many people would follow their behaviors. If
Mm,
the, if they don't have good behavior, they could have a bad influence on other people, and they can make the society become worse.
thank you. Very nice. We're going to move on then. Now, Hương, please. What are the benefits of having many followers on social media?
Yes, so the first thing comes to my mind is money. So let's say you are a celebrity, like a key influencer on Facebook and Instagram. Chances are you will get a lot of partnerships and support from different brands so that you can increase your total income. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. And the second thing is that sometimes if you are a social activist or a conservationist or anyone that works to support the community, you can use your influence to inspire other people.
Thank you.
So,
Well, then, do you think that do you think that mm, those with lots of followers are always right?
so that's quite strange. That's a strange question. I don't think that people that have a lot of followers are always right because they are only people. And I mean, when you have a lot of followers, sometimes you can buy it from some third-party providers. So I know a lot of providers out there, they will give you about 1,000 to 2,000 followers if you are willing to pay a lot of money for them. So in that case, you are not necessary to be right or wrong there. But I think if you have like millions of followers, maybe you will be someone who have great authority or knowledge in your field. And in that case, maybe you will have more insights
So
and
thank you.
knowledge.
Does that mean that people with like millions of followers always say things that are right and accurate?
Yes, so let me continue my point over here. So, I mean, when you have millions of followers, chances are you can say accurate or more insightful things in your particular field, but it doesn't mean that you will be right in other fields. So let's say that you are the tennis professional player, right? So maybe you are right when you talk about sports and tennis and etc. But if someone asks you about like maybe marriage or health issues, maybe your insights or recommendations will be incorrect because you don't have experience in that field. Yeah.
So that means the answer is not really.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's continue then. V, please. Mm, we're still talking about having many followers. What can people do to have lots of followers on social media?
Well, I suppose there are many ways people can do. The first thing is that they need to create content that is useful or entertaining, so people will feel motivated to follow them. For example, they can share some study tips or advice about fitness, or post some funny videos that can go viral. And another thing is that they need to regularly post and update their social media to keep their audiences engaged and attract new followers over
Thank
time.
you. Thank you. Do you think that having many followers on social media is a kind of success that people should aspire to?
Uh, oh well, I think it depends on the, on each person's goal.
Hmm.
Okay, for some people like an influencer or a KOL, it is very important to have a high a high to have high numbers of followers, since when they have such a wide audience like that, they can have sponsorship from brands, which will help them have earn more money. However, for some other people, I don't think it is the ultimate goal, as the number of followers doesn't always reflect their real talent, or it doesn't mean that they can create meaningful impacts for the
Thank you.
society.
That should be fine. That should be fine. All right. People, thank you for your participation. I thought that your answers were, in general, sensible, although I did have to say that some of the answers were not fully developed. But I'm just gonna go down the notes here. Zui, for some reason, I still dislike the way that you paced yourself. It just felt like you were thinking about one word at a time. And truth to be told, I was not willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. And for instance, curiosity, I've never heard anybody said curiosity. Like, it was too clear for such a word to be, pronounced in that way. It's just, a word. Like, I'm not quite sure what to say here, but I just couldn't really give you the benefit of the doubt with regard to your overall fluency, although you were clearly capable of speaking English. I just felt like you were translating one word at a time at the back of your mind, and I would not be willing to give you, a higher score than what you truly deserve. Or maybe the score that you truly deserve. Yeah, I don't think that I would be willing to give you like the score that you truly deserve. Businessmen, businesswomen, people, right? Business people. Oh, but your extensions were nice. Um, at the beginning of your answer, you said something about us being in the 21st century. It was so out of the ordinary. I would recommend you to perhaps opt for a more mainstream phrase to stall for time. Perhaps you can say, well, I suppose there are various types of people that can have like a huge following on social networking sites. And off the top of my head, I would say that perhaps, those with like business visions can, command attention from internet users, so on and so forth. Okay. So that was a weird introduction, but your extensions were valid. I just didn't like the way that you paced yourself in your answers. I felt like you were just translating word by word. Oh, not quite sure what to do with you. Now for Hà Anh, okay, well you were given a rather hard question. You had to follow up what Zui said. And this is a piece of advice for all of you. You should try not to repeat everything that the examiner has asked you. For instance, Huang, essentially you repeated this entire phrase. That was very lazy of you, okay? Especially considering the fact that you have been in this class for a while. Do not repeat everything, okay? Kind. How else can you say have many followers on social media?
Mhm.
is well known on social media,
How can you paraphrase social media?
in the public eye or the whole
No,
place,
no. Social media.
the mass media.
No.
Um,
There's a very common paraphrase. Social networking sites. All right.
oh,
Social networking sites. To have many followers. Sure, no, perhaps you can have a huge following, right? A huge following. To be well known on the internet, right? To be well known on the internet. What else? Or you can say can do that, right? I guess one other type of people that can do that would be those with talents or um those who like represent very specific aspirations. Create aspiration. It was a rather weird word to use. I don't know. I mean, I don't have any recommendation for you because I'm not even sure what verb you're supposed to use with the word aspiration outside of the word outside of this one, represent. Okay. Wealthy, beauty, well, wealth. You were using nouns, wealth, beauty, extremely loaded. That was a, where did you learn that from? It was wrong anyway. Hi, I'm speaking to you.
yes, I'm listening.
So, extremely loaded.
I remember the word like something loaded to describe you have a lot of money, but I don't remember exactly the whole phrase.
Loaded. No, if you're loaded, it means that you have lots of cash. And if you want to say loaded, then you have to already create the context of talking about money. Like, do you have money? Sure, yeah, sure, I'm loaded. That's what it means. So you have to set out the context first.
Oh,
Okay?
yes, like
And then you
I
can use the
prefaced it
phrase.
with the term Nepo babies. So hey,
No, 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 no. No, it did not work.
okay.
Okay? I'm making notes based on what you said. So let's not get bogged down in these pointless details. It did not
Yes.
work when you first used it. So just take my advice. You say something about cash first, right? Like when they want to talk about cash, well, because they're loaded, they can give people advice about financial matters. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, or you can say well off. Okay. Miraculous, very miraculous. Miraculous is already an extreme word. If something is miraculous, it's essentially magic. I don't think that there's anything that can go beyond magic.
Yes.
Right? Just miraculous. So, or you can say something, money is something miraculous. Like you can use it to solve all of your problems in life. Okay.
Tại lúc đấy bị rối nên là em nhét thêm vô.
Yeah, we could tell. Thank you. Now for Miss Rena here. Um, Okay, I think that you made a valid point, but your rhythm was a bit choppy. Like you focused excessively on one or two phrases at a time. And for some reason, I feel like you and Zui have the same kind of rhythm. Like you guys really sound like you were translating words at the back of your mind, although I'm not quite sure if that was the case. But you gave me that impression. It's just that your pronunciation was clearer and more convincing. So out of the two of you, I would give you the benefit of the doubt. But I would say that, okay, Miss Rena, you clearly know how to speak English and you can speak English fluently, but not Zui. But I do think that you need to work on your rhythm a bit more because even though you were very honest, no, I just couldn't give you the benefit of the doubt. One word or two words at a time. Some people who are Yeah, I mean, you were stressing and stretching words out, but it was a bit too clear. You were advertising the fact that you were gathering ideas. Okay, well, scan them into. Have you figured out what you want to say?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just want to say that kind of deceive young people into buying unnecessary products. I mean,
Okay, well, that's fine. That's valid. Right. Deceive them into buying not necessary things. Okay, thank you.
yeah, thank you for
But
your
yeah,
point.
I like you to work on your rhythm. Not quite sure how to say it. It's just that, like, from my personal experience, sometimes when you talk to examiners and in part three, they might want to go off the beaten track, and instead of reading questions for the booklet, they start, conjuring up questions out of nowhere. But when they do that, they make all kinds of grammar mistakes. They misspeak. They use the wrong words. They use only one or two words at a time. Even examiners do that, and they're speaking in their mother tongue. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with your approach or Zui's approach. It's just that, like, we are given the short end of the stick. They can make mistakes, we cannot, right? They might not be able to pace their questions well, but we cannot do that. If we, just for 1 second misinterpret the message of the test, we're gonna get a low score. I've taken the test more than a few times, and I know that there are examiners who can ask valid questions using perfect grammar and perfect vocabulary. But then there are examiners that, fail miserably the moment they try to go off the beaten track, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But if we take cue from the latter and make mistakes as well, we're not going to be given the benefit of the doubt. And when you file for an EOR, you will also see no improvement, even if your examiner was the one who started to go off the rail first. Like, you were super accurate in like 80% of the test, and then your examiner started making rather basic errors when formulating questions and things like that. If you're inspired by that to lower your guard and make more mistakes, essentially you're throwing the test out the window. And it's super unfair, but it is what it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice for you would be essentially to give them what the band descriptor has told them, right? And we've seen these descriptors more than a few times. The line always says you need to produce long utterances. Some people who are successful, that is not a long utterance. Okay.
Yeah.
Do something about that, lady. All right. Thank you. Now, for Chang, for all here, I have a question for you, Chang. Do you often speak English?
No, I don't speak English often.
Well, then I have to tell you, Chang, well, you stand no chance at improving. I mean, it's a rather harsh thing to say, but like, how should I say this? I mean, I know that you know English. I know that you are very competent, and you know how to use English vocabulary, and you can learn vocabulary as well. But if your direct answer to me is that you don't practice English that often, I have to tell you this, like, you will not improve, not in this lifetime, not in other any lifetimes, unless essentially you're born in an English speaking country. You understand?
Yeah.
Because, like, I can tell that you can improve within the span of this lesson, but, like, you're not exactly on that level where you can essentially just let your English improve on autopilot in a way. Like, you don't have to speak English for a couple of days and your dexterity is
No,
still the
no.
same.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't extend my answer. I mean, I didn't use English much, but recently I take
Ah,
your course and I try to practice. Yeah, but I'm sorry because I don't study hard, but I'm trying now. I mean, in the past, I don't use English quite often. Not now. Yeah. So please.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you could have put that out a bit faster.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. So please, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well then look, I'm gonna retract my statements. Like, damn it, girl, you could have said that.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I need to adjust my message. Look, I think that your current rate of practice has not borne any fruit yet. You know what that means? It means that
Yes.
I don't think that your improvement at this point is measurable.
Yeah.
I don't even think that there has been any improvement. So this truth to be told, that does not mean that you haven't been trying. Now that you have confirmed that you have been working on your speaking skill, okay?
Yes.
So you have been working in the past 3 weeks. It's just that your improvement is not showing, okay?
Yes.
So the next question is, how can we um how can we make sure that your hard work can translate into something that we can identify, that we can detect?
Practice every day.
Some one thing or another. I mean, how do you practice then?
In the past, I just use the question and try to answer, and then I use ChatGPT to help me to correct some of my mistake. And I say one or two time, but over the time I could create new idea, and then I forgot the last one. But as you told me, I need to repeat every idea many times, like use the same idea, applied it. So recently, I apply your what you told me, and I try to mm, like repetition, practice, use it.
Okay.
Yeah,
But then what is your assessment of the ideas that you have repeated? Like, have you actually improved in the way that you deliver these ideas, the ideas that you have repeated?
I see that when I practice enough, maybe as you told me, 6 or 10 times, I think I can remember better, and I can speak more fluently, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know why. Maybe because of my personality, uh, I'm quite shy or I'm introverted. It's not, I am not trying to make an excuse, but I think, my mind just went blank when I would like to
Hmm.
say, yeah. I do not even translate in my mind. I try
Okay.
to think, but my mind just went blank whenever
Okay.
yeah, I have no idea to say. Yeah.
Well, it happens to the best of us, and I don't want to give you the wrong impression here. I'm not saying that just because you have been practicing, especially in this course, it means that you're gonna improve immediately. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that, as a teacher, I want to see your improvements.
Yes.
It's just that they're not showing right now. So you have confirmed with me and well, the
Yeah.
rest of the class that you have been trying, right? It's just
Yes.
that from my perspective, perhaps you were put in a very difficult position. Like I was talking to Miss Rena, right? And then I threw you under the bus by asking you a really hard question. So perhaps you were caught off guard, and you weren't able to talk as fluently as you normally do, to be honest. Like, your answer for that particular question was so bad in comparison to what you were able to say in our conversation. You were fluent in our conversation, but not fluent in that particular question.
Yes. I see that when I work with a lot of in the
Mm.
past few years, but recently 1 year I don't practice English much, but in the past I work with foreigner, and I can work with them most of the time in English because it's part of my job. And I feel really confident, but when it's come to IELTS, damn it, I don't know how to deal with that. I got stuck every time whenever someone asked me and pretend to be take the IELTS exam. My mind just went blank, and I have no idea. I keep stucking many times. I get stuck here. Yeah.
Well, I
So
hope that you can do something about that. And also, one more thing, you're too pretty to be cussing around like damn it and things like that. Remove these words from your vocabulary.
yeah.
Okay, too pretty to say things like that. Look, if it's a mental, like emotional kind of thing, I don't think I can do anything about that. But perhaps, the more you practice, you might get better. I'm not quite sure. I mean, take it from me. I mean, I go up and down the speaking scale as well. Sometimes it's a 7.5, sometimes it's an 8, sometimes it's an 8.5, sometimes it's a 9. And I do essentially get shell-shocked by tough questions. So look, I just want to bring it to your attention that Chang, that you didn't exactly hit the nail on the head, in my opinion, when you were given your question. And do something about it. That's all. Perhaps answer these questions again. Okay. Now for Zhang, you need to work on your P, as in the word. One more time. Advertise their brands.
Advertise their brands.
No, not brands. It's brands. The B is bún, not phở, not bé. It's bé.
Brands.
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 Contribute to other people's benefits.
Contribute to other people benefits.
One more time. Contribute to other people's benefits.
Contribute to other people benefits.
You need to work on your ending sound as well. Like you can, say S and Z and everything in between, but similar to Cho, I think that it's still kind of like on and off for you. But you have improved, right? This time last month, I couldn't hear anything you said because you didn't say anything. Thank you, Zhang. Now, and also you made valid points. Okay, your approach was very direct and and straightforward, but everything was understandable. Now, for Hương, I thought that you hit the ground running. Your first answer was super smooth, but then in the second question, I think I actually tried to see if you would get disrupted, and you did, but not in a major way, but there were two mistakes. Can buy it. What exactly were you referring to?
Yeah, so I mean, like some influencers, they can buy followers.
Sure, you should have said that.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people can buy their followers.
Yes.
Right? Necessary to be, oh, well, that was an amateur mistake.
Yes.
Right? You can say they're not necessarily correct all the time.
Yeah, necessarily.
Right? And also, apparently, you had a go-to phrase. Chances are,
Yes. For
don't
you.
use it too often.
Yes.
I mean, if you get to use it perhaps once or twice throughout the entire test, but not back to back like that. I mean, I actually remember that you had already used that phrase once. So the moment you tried to pull the same trick, it didn't work on me. So yeah, try to pace these idioms out. All right. But your points were valid.
Thank you.
All right. For V on each person's personal goals, and you don't say high numbers. Although I do have to say that it's a very common thing to say. I think it's better for you to say large numbers of followers. Okay. V.
Yeah, I heard that.
But I asked you, okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, people. I think that we had our fair share of fun here. When it comes to speaking part 3, I think that all of you have known the ropes at this point. Essentially, when you engage in a discussion, let me write it down. In a discussion, you're supposed to present a position, but unlike writing, you don't have to have an answer right away, especially if that's a very hard question. You can say something like, I'm not too sure. I mean, I'm not too certain of this. I mean, I haven't the foggiest idea, right? But essentially, you have to present a position. Even if you don't have one, you still have to put it out there that, well, I don't think that I have a position on this because I'm still trying to, make sense of the question. Now, after the position, you can say other things, right? the next part counts. You definitely have to or try to justify your position by giving examples, giving explanations, giving as in like reasons, results. You can results. You can make comparisons, right? And remember, you don't necessarily have to be like fully aware of what you're saying to be willing to talk about it. So, for instance, if you're 100% sure, you can say, "I think it's," and it. Oh, well, this is a phrase here. The main reason here is, right? This is 100% sure. If you're not so sure, what can you say? Miss Rena, please, if you just like perhaps 50, not 50, but 70% sure.
Mm, I believe that.
So you use other words. I believe, from my perspective, I suppose,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
guess.
you add words like that.
I guess.
Instead of saying one, the main reason, you can say one possible reason here, right? If you're not too sure, should you use is? Miss Rena, I'm still talking to you. If you're not 100% sure, instead of is, what can you use?
Mm, oh, normally I don't use these kinds of phrases.
You use because, fine. You can use could be,
Yeah.
right? Or might be, right? If you're not sure at all, but you're still forced to talk about it, what can you say? Zui, please. Thank you, Miss Reno. If you're only 30% sure, what can you say?
Right? Like I'm on the fence about something.
No. You still have, sure, we're past that already. I'm not too sure, but you need to give me an explanation. But you are not too sure about it. How can you tell the examiner that? How can you tell yourself that so that you're more willing to speak?
Hmm.
You can say it's a long shot, right?
Ah,
But
ah,
it's a long shot, but I suppose a probable, a possible, right? A possible explanation could be, right? But you can say, I'm not sure if this is the best explanation, right? But one possible reason might be, okay?
okay.
So look, what I'm trying to tell you is that, like, how should I say this? Like in speaking part three, your examiner is essentially trained to think that the ball is in your court. You understand? Like, the ball is in your court. You get to pick whatever ideas that you want to use. And even if like it's a nonsensical idea, you can still speak about it. All right. It's just that you have to sound sensible. So, like if you're 100% sure of what you're about to say, you can say, well, the main reason here is an example of this could be, right? If you're not that sure, but you think that it's sensible, you can say, well, I believe, in my opinion, I suppose one possible reason here could be, right? So you can use that kind of phrase, not just to stall for time, but also to tell yourself that, okay, look, I don't know much about this, but if I have to speak about it, I'm going to say this phrase to tell the examiner that I don't know much about it, but I have to talk about it anyway, right? It helps to take the pressure of credibility off your shoulders. And if you don't know at all, not at all, but you just 30% sure, and you can say it's a long shot. It's a very nice phrase, but it's a very nice phrase. But you can say it's a long shot, but I suppose a possible explanation here could be, or you can say I'm not sure if this is the best explanation, but one possible reason might be. Okay. I hope that these phrases can give you, the power to just keep on speaking, because that's what you need in a discussion. If you're sure, then you're gonna talk with absolute certainty. But even if you're not too sure, then you can use these phrases to calm yourself down so that you can proceed with perhaps your own theories. And if you have no idea what you're about to say, you can say something like, to be honest, I haven't really figured out the reason for this, perhaps, right? And then you make your guess here. Essentially, you can guess. Or perhaps, to be frank, this question is beyond, this question is a tad hard for me. My best guess here is, right? Yeah. You can use phrases like this. Okay. But as you can tell, because examiners think that you can use these words to justify what you're about to say, if you stop for no reason, or if you fail to, give extensions, then, it's on you, not them. So make sure that you keep yourself open-minded, which is not exactly an easy thing to do, especially in our culture. But well, if you want to get a good score, not a good score, but a very good score, then you need to be willing to use phrases like this one. Okay. If do you guys have any question regarding how we can extend our answers in speaking part 3? If you have no question, you can give me number 1 in the chat box. We're just talking about the how. Like, are you aware of the fact that we need to state our position, we need to give examples, we need to give explanations, we need to make comparisons, we need to present reasons and results and everything in between. Right? It doesn't mean that we're going to do this successfully all the time. I mean, take it from me, I have failed more than a few times and I have got 9s, right? Plural form in speaking, that is. Anyway, now let's talk about some of the sample ideas here. I don't assume that there's anything that special about these answers outside of the fact that they're obnoxiously long. But I hope that you can perhaps, first of all, take away some of the phrases that can help to express ideas. We don't really care about phrases anymore. This is not like a vocabulary lesson. It's more like, okay, well, I have this idea, and I'm gonna use these phrases to talk about, the idea. Right, and we're gonna do popcorn, right? I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna abuse that game, but this is what we're gonna do. You just read the sample answer aloud, and you pause and call out the next person, right? So for instance, I think that there are various types off the top of Tao Hương. All right, now what Tao Hương, what do you have to do now? When I say off the top of Tao Hương,
On top of my head, I say that.
okay, hold on. You don't get to say off the top of my head. You have to continue, right? Off the top of
Yes,
Tao Hương, and then you say my head.
Mhm. I would say that. Yeah.
People who are physically attractive tend to have a lot of V,
Oh,
right? Essentially, you call out someone's name, okay? We don't have to go through all members of the class when we go through these sample answers. But for each question here, I expect perhaps 4 or 6 of you, and then we can move on with other sample answers. All right. Okay. Good luck to you all, and I hope that you can do a better job than what you did about a month ago. Everybody was so, I don't know, naive back then. You need to pause at the right time to make sure that the person that follows you will be given the short end of the stick, because that's what happens in a speaking test. Okay, I feel like I'm digging my grave here. Now let's start with Bao Qiu, please. What types of Bao Qiu, do you understand what we're doing here?
Yes, I have to read and call the name, the next
Yes,
name.
give you no more than 3 lines. Give yourself no more than 3 lines. And you have to choose the nastiest part to pause. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what types of people tend to have many followers on social media?
I think there are various types. Off the top of my head, I'll say that people who are physically attractive tend to have a lot of followers. I mean, it makes sense since Thảo Hương easy to
Stop, 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 stop. No, 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 no. Just say Thảo Hương and Miss Thảo Hương
Okay,
would have to continue.
okay, Thảo Hương.
Since
Since they are easy to look at, and many users may follow them to get tips of diets and exercise regimen for Zui.
hmm,
Okay. Exercise regimes for a shredded
no, 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 no,
body.
no, 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 no. So you missed the point. You have to continue. You don't get to go you don't get to dial back.
Okay.
She stopped here. Exercises regime for Zui, right? So a
Okay.
shredded body.
For a shredded body. I can't think
Hmm.
of particular names right now, but there are a few fitness trainers who have millions of followers, and most of their posts are about what they eat and how they exercise. In addition to that, Rina,
I suppose people with interesting lives can also draw public attention, and I mean, not all of us are born with a silver spoon in our toe.
So, so having fancy calls and big mentions is something that a common experience, and and we and when we okay.
We go to pages of rich kids or successful entrepreneurs. That's what we can see.
See, Ming, Ming,
Okay. And we can live the experience uh,
vicariously.
vicariously. And then there are Rina.
In the middle of nowhere, where it's freezing cold most of the time,
Um, the time, or there are also wild animals lurking at every corner. So, Rina,
Serena.
so seeing how they navigate their lives is so pretty interesting.
One question, has anybody here got left out of the movement? Oh, there's one person that has not been called. Everybody, you did a horrible job. Changbo has been left out of the equation. Oh, poor you, girl. Anyway, look, my suggestion is for you to find, better spots to stop because you guys were too civilized. For instance, I would do something like this, okay? In addition to that, I suppose people with very interesting lives can also draw public attention. I mean, not all of us are born with V, right? You need to be a bit more strategic, a bit naughtier. And when we go to pages of rich kids or successful entrepreneurs, that's what we can see and we can live the experience. I mean, you can essentially give them the hardest word to start with, right? I'm giving you tactics. I'm giving you tactics so that you can make this lesson more engaging. Okay. We need to be naughtier. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you guys were nasty when you were high school students, skipping classes, cussing out. talking trash behind your teacher's back, not doing your homework, and everything in between. Now, I need you to bring that vibe back. Right? And then there are people who live in the middle of Khả Anh, right? Isn't that a good spot to stop? Khả Anh, what do you have to say about that?
I think we should be more crucial and less dear.
No, you should say in the middle of nowhere. You should say
Yeah,
nowhere.
like I thought you asked me what to do next.
No, you missed the mark. You were not paying attention at all. Stop playing games on your computers. Right? And then there are people who live in the middle of Khả Anh, and Khả Anh say nowhere, where it's freezing cold most of the time. And then they're also wild. They're also wild Trang Võ. Right? Wild Trang Võ. Isn't that a good way to stop? Now, Trang Võ, if I say, wait, hold on. They're also wild Trang Võ. What you're supposed to say?
Animals looking at every corner.
Good.
They're
You understand the
still,
rule, right?
yes.
Well, be more creative, people. This is the only time when you can have some fun in a speaking class. As you can tell, I mean, the first part tends to be brutal. Anyway, look, we're just going to analyze this answer and then we're going to move on because honestly, this is what the whole lesson is about. Like you talk and you practice speaking, okay? And you practice extending your answers in various ways. Okay. Off the top of my head, so this is a phrase to stall for time. First thing first, I'd say that people who are physically attractive. Now, what is the function of the sentence? Chang Võ, please. What is the function of the sentence?
Explain.
Nope. It's your first answer. First point,
First point.
right? Have a lot of followers. So the first type of people would be those who are
Attractive.
physically attractive, right? Now, next sentence, it makes sense since they're easy to look at and many users follow them. So what is the function of this sentence? Continue, Chang Võ.
Makes sense. Explanation.
Explanation in the form of reason and perhaps just another reason, right? Two reasons. And the last one, Chang Võ continue. I can't think of particular names right now.
Another, like, I can think.
Of course, it's an explanation. Everything you say is an explanation. But what kind of explanation is this?
Extension.
No, examples. Right?
Oh.
There are a few fitness trainers. We're talking very specific groups of people here. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Let's continue. Zhang, please. Oh, Zhang has also been left out. People, you need to do better. Now, Zhang, please. In addition to this, I suppose people with interesting lives can also draw public attention.
Lại đọc tiếp ạ.
Now, what is the function of this sentence? What does it do? What does it do?
Express opinion.
Sure, it's a second answer, right? I mean, not all of us are born with a silver spoon in our mouth, and it's an idiom for being wealthy. So having cars and big mansions is not a common experience. What is this sentence? Zhang, what is the role of this sentence?
To give example.
Kinda, right? It's more like for comparison. Example, in the form of comparison, you say, well, look, we like to follow rich people because not all of us have their lifestyles, but perhaps we can satisfy our curiosity by observing them from afar or from the internet. Okay, good work, thank you. Giang, continue.
Anh ơi, em tưởng câu này phải là uncommon experience chứ.
uncommon. Oh, is so having fancy car or big mansions. Not all of us are born with silver spoon. So having fancy cars and big mansion is not something.
Okay.
I think that it's better to put not here, right? Not something that is a common experience. Something that is common experience. Okay, thank you, Nguyệt. Let's continue. Zhang, please. What is the role of this sentence?
Um, it is another idea.
No, it's
Uh,
still the same idea,
an
but it's more like
Another example.
not exactly, just like result. We're talking about interesting lives, right? And the first example is that we're talking about rich people, those who were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Okay. So this is the extension for here. Hold on. So this is the extension here. This is the extension for this idea. Okay. Let's continue. Khả Anh, please. And then there are people who live in the middle of nowhere.
I think this phrase is a contrast extension to the one that you have mentioned.
No, this is just another example.
Yeah, like contrast extension.
What is a contrast extension?
I
It doesn't
forgot the
contrast
word
anything.
example.
Well, it doesn't contrast anything here because we're just talking about people with interesting lives. The first category is people who are filthy rich. The second category is people who live in the middle of nowhere. There's no contrast here.
Contrast to the born with silver spoon. And you
Where's
go
the contrast?
with the
Where's the contrast? This means being rich,
that
living in
mean
the
that
middle
you
of
rich
nowhere.
and is that you are poor?
No,
Or
live in the middle of nowhere is not being poor. It means that you live where you in a very unique location. That's all.
oh, okay.
I mean, like when you live in the middle of nowhere, it means that you're just not living in a city, and it takes like 20 minutes just to get to your house from the nearest main thoroughfare. Okay,
Okay.
let's continue. So seeing how they navigate their lives is also pretty interesting. What is this? Kind.
Still
Yeah.
seeing how they
So if you see the word so, it is a
conclusion
result. Yeah, it's a
result.
result.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, there are lots of hedging language. I don't want to go into the details of language like that, but essentially you can speculate more by saying things like, well, I think one possible example here is, well, I suppose I use well all the time, which is not a good thing in my opinion. I use I think all the time as well. So you can say, I suppose, I imagine that, right? I would guess that. Okay, so try to speculate more. All right, we're gonna move on. That's all we need to do in this particular lesson. We have already talked about all kinds of sentences, with all kinds of extensions. So it's more or less about, rage baiting one another. Okay. I hope that you're gonna be able to pull off something more vicious this time around. Okay, Miss Chang Vo, please. We're gonna move on to the second sample answer. Do you think, and also people, you must choose someone that has not been asked. Okay. and people, I like to make a proposal here. If you have already been asked and you're asked to speak again a bit too quick, I would like you to quickly move on to someone else. Okay, and don't go back and forth between two individuals. It's not fun. Tang, please. Do you think that social media influencers are positive role models?
Well, I suppose it depends. Some some are definitely worth looking up to because they spread. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Tang, let's do it again. You're not supposed to pause like that. It's too obvious.
Well, I
You need to
suppose it
be
depends. Yeah, yeah.
hold on. You need to be like it's like you're trying to harm them. You're
Yes.
essentially advertising the fact that you're gonna call someone else. That's not a good tactic. Let me do it. Let's give you an example, right? Well, I suppose it depends. And you also need to work on your pacing as well. Don't overlook that part. Some are definitely worth looking up to because they spread Zhang, right? They spread Zhang. Continue. Let's do it again. Well, I suppose.
Well, I suppose it depends. Some are definitely worth looking up to because they spread positive value. I mean, a lot of them, yeah.
Build their business from scratch. So it's really inspiring to follow me. With
Listen
Them
good.
them on their journey to success, and perhaps we can take a page out of the book. For instance, there is this used to name Duy.
Ali Abda, who was a Cambridge doctor, but pivoted into this YouTube thing. I saw that
Zhang again.
his videos when there were not only 4,000 subscribers, and now he's got
Subscribers. For
subscribers.
Zhang, just take your time. Take your time. You need to pronounce the words accurately. There were only 4,000 subscribers. Take your time. You're reading to learn.
End of life.
Yeah.
His videos when there were only 4,000 subscribers, and now he's got 5 million or something like that. So there, I'm proud of Rina.
Of what? Zhang,
Rina.
what you say? Of
So
Rina?
there,
Look,
Yeah.
hold on. Sorry.
Now,
Zhang, Miss Zhang, you need to read it again. I need to do differently. Focus to make sure. I want you to read precisely. Your pronunciation was all the way off. Do it again. So now he's got 5 million or something like that. So yeah, not so tia. It's so yeah. I'm proud of him. So on and so forth. You cannot sacrifice your pronunciation here. Let's do it again. I saw his video.
I saw his videos when there were only 4,000 subscribers, and now he got 5 million or something like that. So yes, I'm proud of him, and I think he's such a great role model. But then there are also influencers who we Rina.
should keep an eye out for. Oftentimes, they are more about showing off their wealth and capitalizing on the attention that we thảo hương.
That we give, I mean, is the right to flaunt their thing.
Kain, you're next.
Flaunt their wealth, but a lot of young
No,
people.
she said flaunt there already. You have to say wealth.
Tại chị Hương nói âm mượt quá em không nghe thôi.
It's your problem then.
Wealth, but a lot of young people seem to be misled by their lavish lifestyle and assume that they will achieve success right off Zui.
uh, off the bat, which is just a
Not no
very
no no no
simple
not off the bat. You have to say
with
the
the bat.
bat.
yeah, the bad, which is unrealistic.
Okay, you're getting better. I like to mention again, just because we're playing a game, it does not mean that you get to, pronounce words inaccurately. You have to maintain your accuracy as well. You can do both, right? You can be grammatically accurate and then harm someone or make fun of someone. Some are definitely worth looking up to because they spread Zhang, right? Spread positive values. Okay. I mean, a lot of them build a business from scratch. What does that mean here? Tian Võ, when you create or do something from scratch, what does that mean?
Starting something from zero.
Right. So you can use that phrase. So I've been learning to, speak English from scratch. So it's been really hard. I've been learning how to edit videos from scratch, right? So it's very time consuming. Okay, take a page out of someone's book. What does that mean in simple English? Cho,
I don't know this phrase.
it means to learn from someone, right? I would say perhaps we can take a page out of Cho, right? And then what do you say next?
Uh, for instance,
No, their book.
okay.
Girl, oh, you need to be more focused. Yeah,
No,
for
you
instance,
still out Joe book, so I just focus on
I
for
only said
instance.
Cho. I only said Cho. Take a page out
Okay.
of Cho.
Okay.
For instance, there's this YouTuber named Z, all right, good, who was a Cambridge doctor but pivoted into this YouTube thing. So I saw his video when there were only 4,000, only 4,000 V. What do you say next?
Subscribers.
So this is the, so what is this here?
Example.
Right. And above we have some explanation. Okay, good. But then there are also, I suppose it depends. It's such a useful phrase. I dare to say that, I have a problem with fillers, like I think. And my problem is that I use them a bit too much. Like I often say I think, I think, I think, I think. For some of you, that would be like So you might want to diversify your use of fillers. Using fillers is actually a very good thing, but you should not abuse them. Okay. But then there also influence who we should keep an eye out for. Okay, what does this mean? Keep an eye out for.
Keep an eye out for không nên look up to those people.
Okay, or you can
Uh,
say you should be careful with, right?
yes.
Keep an eye out for. Is it like when you sleep and you sleep like this with one eye open? Okay. Oftentimes they're more about showing off they're sh showing off their wealth, right? To show off how wealthy they are, and capitalizing on the attention that we give. I mean, is there a right to flaunt with if I say to flaunt, what do you say next?
Their wealth.
What does flaunt their wealth mean?
Dạ, chắc kiếm tiền ạ anh.
No, flaunt is the same as show off.
À,
Right? Flaunt
lòng
their wealth. To show off their wealth. Lavish lifestyles. Lavish is a word for the outrageous, as in, you throw money out the window. That's lavish. They will achieve success right off the bat, which is unrealistic. Okay, one more sample, and then we're done for the day. In terms of grammar, I just need to tell you that, like, if you want, like, for band 6, you should try to use a mix of short and complex sentence forms. For band 7, you need to increase your accuracy. You understand? So, like, 80% of the time, your sentences have to be accurate. That can be quite a daunting task, But, well, do something about it. Error-free sentences are frequent, right? wide range of structures, flexibly used. The majority of sentences are error-free. If you're aiming for an 8, this is your degree of accuracy, 90%. But then again, look, if you're still thinking about, if you're still if you're still thinking about, okay, so what comes after both you and I, there should be are, not is, not am, not, yeah, just both you and I are in this together, or you and I are in this together. If you're still thinking about grammar, it means that you haven't practiced hard enough. And unfortunately, I don't think that there's a shortcut for that, because I think that for all of you, as you can see, I use I think a lot, sorry, because as you can tell, all of you here know a thing or two about grammar rules, okay? All of you do that. All of you know how to use grammar on a very basic level, and also advanced level, okay? But when you speak, you're not supposed to think about grammar. If you're still thinking about it, it means that you haven't practiced hard enough. And you have to, like, how should I say this? Like, I remember when I was in my, what is the word for those who are in first year of college? Freshman. When I was still a freshman, it took me a lot of time just to piece two sentences together. But I was adamant that I would master certain ideas. So it was hard at first. But well, after 2 years, I got back on my feet and I was able to speak fluently, 7.5, right from the get-go. I did a test in 2016 after 2 years of essentially like relearning English from scratch, right? And yeah, I was able to get 7.5 for speaking. So I assume that like if you're disciplined enough to repeat and improve, you're gonna get a high score as well. I mean, I did. I got nines as well. So yeah, I think that it's within your grasp. Not that you have to get a 9 or 8 on 8 to be good at what you do. Okay. But yeah, in terms of grammar, this is something that you need to pay attention to, right? If you're still thinking about grammar, you're not practicing effectively, I think. The best way to learn grammar is to say the same thing several times so that when you express an idea, you don't think about what comes after I in I was. You just say I was a child. I was a child. Okay. This is a very simple example, but the message is the same. If you're still thinking about the word was here, you're not too sure if you should say were or was, it means that you haven't said this phrase enough times, right? So what is enough? For some of you, 2 times, right? For some of you, 10 times. For me back then, 100 times. Or maybe I'm exaggerating things, but you get the point. Like we don't have a specific number, a magic number for everybody. But if you have to say, a phrase 100 times now to get it, perhaps once you got it, you won't lose it ever. Okay? It'll be part of your DNA. All right. One last rodeo, and then we're off the grid, people. That's it for Saturday's night. Let's start with Bao Qiu, please. What are the benefits of having many followers on social media?
Well, I don't have a huge following on any social media.
Huge,
Huge. Okay.
huge.
Okay. Well, I don't have a huge following on any social media platform, so I'm not sure if the
Uh, I'm the best person to speak about this,
You
but I
sure are.
assume that there are many Chang for.
Benefits. The first is obviously there's satisfaction that comes. Giao
Joe.
With the status of being famous, and Rina,
You can probably use these platforms to Whitney.
Promote your service and product, or at least get Lamzang.
But yeah, that's good.
Endorsement deals from brands. I mean, here in Vietnam, a lot of kind.
KOLs built empires on their followers across Facebook and TikTok, but of three.
Of course, there are risks as well. When you're well known, it's also like your Rina.
Skating on thin ice, Kai.
If you make one mistake, it may well jam.
Spell the end of your career.
Okay, so two people have been left out of the equation. Thảo Hương and V. Okay, NV, NV like this one. NV. Okay. You did a good job this time around. Yeah, so you can use this phrase here. If I don't have a huge following on any social media platform, so I'm not sure if I'm the best person to speak about this. But I assume there, as you can see, that this is a very, very long phrase, but it's perfectly usable. Right? If you want to say that, look, I'm not too sure what I'm about to say is correct or not, but I'm gonna have to say something. So I'm gonna put this sentence out first, so that like it's like a disclaimer. I'm not sure if this is correct, but you asked me a question, so I might have to say a ridiculous thing to dig my way out of a tough situation. Okay? Oh, okay, let's continue then, because we haven't covered everybody. You need to be more creative. Let's start with Thảo Hương, please. Do you think that, hold on, here, yeah, do you think that older people and younger people should use the same kind of social media software?
To a certain extent, I'd say so. I mean, there are only so many apps, so they might end up using the same software. It's just that
Old people tend to lag behind their younger counterparts, though there are still a few Harina.
A few
It's
readers.
more popular a month later for Thảo Hương.
instant here in Vietnam, both demographics use Facebook and TikTok. However, Rina,
Young people also want to avoid frequent V.
Yes.
Contact with their parents and other elderly members in the clan.
Family, so they move to lesser known apps such as Lockets and Thread.
Okay, that should be fine. That should be it for today then. Look, I adore how some of you were able to throw other people under the bus. I like to I like to give very high praises to Miss Rina. Yes, you have really upped your game, lady. And Thảo Hương as well. Although I dislike the fact that you two were going like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So just, something to improve next time. Khả Anh has always had, a very sharp edge when it comes to games like this. So not much is to be said about this boy here. Um, and Cho is also improving. Zhang, can you see that? Zhang, I'm speaking to you specifically. Can you see that? You are capable of improving, but it's like e- every time I need to go hard on you, you know, for you to bear in mind that you need to get all the ending sounds out. Zhang, do you
Yes,
see that?
yes.
You know what? Like that's part of the job here as a teacher. But to be honest, I'm much too young and much too handsome to do that all the time. I feel like every time I yell at you or to say negative things about the way that you pronounce word, it adds a wrinkle to my massive forehead. And my massive forehead has already got enough wrinkles. So can you please just do something about that and don't force me to chastise you like that. Okay? All right. Well then, that's it, and that's all for today. Um, that's all, I guess. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.